All right, so I'm going to show you segment G. And so first I have to fill in what's there, what I need to do. So the first ones are 0, 0, 1, 1. So 0, 0, 1, and then 1. Come back. Then the next 4 are, I'll make green, 1, 1, 1, 0, 1, 1, 1, and 0. And then these final 2 down here, guess I'll make, I don't know, yellow, and they're down here. So these were the orange ones. These were the green ones. And these were the yellow ones. The remaining ones I get to choose based on what makes it simple. So I will start figuring out what I want to figure out. So I need to pick some of these ones and try to put them into large groups. So if I pick, say, these ones here, I have a pair. I'm trying to make them a bigger group if I can with my choices. I can't go up because of the zeros, but I can go down and put in these 2 as ones. So then that gives me a group here of 4. I can't do better than that. It would either be the full 2 columns and I have zeros at the top, or it would be these full 2 middle rows, which I can't do because of this 0. So that's as good as it's going to get for that group. And so I'm going to call that group middle 2 rows, or maybe I'll say row 2 and 3, and columns 1 and 2. And then when I have that group, I look at the inputs for it and decide who's changing and who's not. So W changed, X is the same and is a 1, Y is the same and is a 0, and Z changed, so I throw it out. So that expression will be X, Y prime. And then these guys, I just put a little X next to them to realize, make myself remember that I dealt with them. So I have still 5 more ones to deal with. I think next I will choose maybe these 2 up here. And I want to put them in as large a group as possible. I can't go horizontally because I'm blocked by these zeros. I can't go down, I'm blocked by these zeros. But if I wrap around, I can make a larger, a group of 4. So I could make these 2 ones to match up with these 2 ones with a wrap, and that will make a group of 4. So that was what, rows 1 and 4. And columns 3 and 4. And when I have a foursome, I expect to lose 2 inputs. When you're by yourself, it's all 4 inputs. When you're a pair, you're going to lose 1 input. When you're a foursome, you're going to lose 2 inputs. If you're 8, you're going to lose 3 inputs. So this is row 1 and 4. W changes when I go from row 1 to row 4, but X stays the same and is 0. So I'm going to have an X prime. And then it's columns 3 and 4. So Y is the same and Z changes. So Y is there and there's a 1. And then I dealt with this guy and this guy and this guy and this guy. And I still have 3 I have to deal with, so I have to keep going. So let me deal with this little guy by himself. But I can't go horizontally across because of that 0. But I can put him in. There are 2 possible foursomes I can put him in. I can put him with these 2 matched up with these 2. That's a possibility. Or I can again, still put a 1 in this row and make him a column. I can't make him an 8 because of this 0. But there are two possibilities. I'm going to put in this 1. It was the same 1 either way. But there are two groups. I won't make both groups because then I'd be making extra work for myself. But I have to pick one of the groups. I'll pick just that it's all rows column 4. But again, it's not always a unique answer. I could have chosen this group of 4, middle 2 rows, first and last column, or I can just choose all rows last column. That both of those groups cover this guy. So I just pick one. I'm going to pick, what did I say? I'm going to pick all rows last column, column 4, I'll say. And so I ask what happens to the inputs. W changes, it's 0 and 1, X changes, it's 0 and 1, Y stays the same, and Z stays the same. I'm not changing columns, so Y doesn't have a chance to change, same for Z. So that will be Y and Z prime, because the Z is a 0 there. And then that adds these two. And now I'm left with these two yellow ones at the bottom. And I can put them in a group of 8. They haven't been taken care of yet, but I can put them in a group of 8 by making this a 1. And then it's the rows 3 and 4, all columns. And so that's a group of 8. So I'm expecting to keep only one input. The only input that doesn't change for that is W. X changed, Y changed, Z changed, so this is just W. Now, is it always that all of your don't cares are 1? No, it's often true, but it's not always true. So you've got to be careful that you don't introduce an extra group. So now there's an expression xy prime plus x prime y plus yz prime plus w. Now let's say that you want to build this. So I have on Canvas or on my website this file called switches that gives you a good head start. So here is the file switches. I have inputs. These are labeled A, B, C, D rather than W, X, Y, Z, but I'm just going to not bother to change that. I want to make a little bit more room vertically. So I'm going to right click in the white space and choose properties and choose workspace. And I'm going to make the height a little bit bigger. Give myself a little bit more room vertically. And we go for 11. And then I'm going to just highlight these and take my arrow key and make myself a little bit more space. And then what do I need? What expression am I working on here? This is an AND gate, that's an AND gate, that's an AND gate. And then I have overall a 4 input OR gate. So I'm going to go over here to Miss Digital. And I'm going to go to this TIL, and I'm going to, what did I need in AND gates? 2 input AND, 2 input AND, 2 input AND. I need 3 2 input ANDs. So here's AND 2, and I need 1, 2, 3 of them. The last one's a lone guy, so I don't need an AND gate for that. While I'm here, I'm going to get an OR gate. I need a 4 input OR gate. And then at the end, maybe I'll get a probe. So I'll switch over from Miss Digital to indicators and probe, and I'm in the mood for orange today. Okay. So now we want X. So I'm going to imagine, what were these? W, X, Y, Z. Maybe I better change them so I know what's what. W, X, Y, and Z. There we go, Z. Okay. All right. So I wanted X and Y prime. So here is X. This bright green is X, and Y prime is this red one here, that one. And then I wanted X prime, which is this, and Y. So that this one was Y. And then I wanted YZ prime. So who was Y? Y was this, so I don't know, olive green here. That was Y. And Z prime was this last guy. So I'm thinking that this was X, Y prime, X prime, Y, Y, Z prime, and then there was a W. And so the last guy was just W. Drag him out of the way. And then the other guys connect to the AND gates. And then connect them off to the probe. And so that is the build. So always start with the head start, make your life easy, and then figure out what you need. This was 3 2-input ANDs, and one guy was by himself. Other times you might need a 3-input AND, or there was no simplification at all for a given one. You may have a 4-input AND, but this is the game. But if you start with the switches and the knots, you'll save yourself some time. So that was an example of Karnaugh Map with DontCares and building it.